I think we have all had that feeling where we sit down, we pull out our art journals, we go to start crafting, and every single idea that we have ever had just disappears and we stare at the blank page not knowing what to do. Well, today I hope to help with that a little bit. I am going to be giving you 5 different ideas for filling your journal. We're going to look at various mixed media techniques and hopefully give you a little bit of inspiration. So, shall we just get started? So, this is one of my most favouriteest pages that I have ever created. We are creating a fun and whimsical collage in my 11 by 11 pink pig journal. This is one I created some time ago and it still is one of my favourite journal pages, and I still get comments on it when I share it online. So this is actually a compilation of various videos that I have created when I have gone live here on YouTube. So I actually go live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. British Standard Time, or yeah, whatever time zone we are in Britain. It's currently BST, but it changes in the winter. And yeah, so we go live, and what I do is so much fun. We have a good chat and we just all craft together, and it's a great fun, and I absolutely love doing it. But once I have finished my videos, you can still find them if you go onto the live tab or if you go onto my playlist of replays. But I do tend to unlist them because they're a very different style of video. They're in real time, they're chatty, they're great fun when they're live, but I think watching them on the repeat is not quite the same. So every so often I take a few of my favourite pages and put them together. So you'll be able to see this because the lighting and somewhat, although I've done my best with editing, the lighting and things seem to change from make to make, but they're still gorgeous pages, so it's still worth sticking around. So I had made lots of little houses using the Sherbet Fizz paper pad. That's one of my paper pads. Look at them, they're so cute. I then added some little extra stamped details just to make it cute and cozy and more like a street. So we have like trees and lampposts and bits and pieces, and I'm colouring these with my alcohol markers. I absolutely love doing this kind of things. I think when you use designer papers a lot in your crafting projects, there always tends to be scraps, and I like to look at creative ways of using scraps, and collage, especially Collage Houses, does seem to be my go-to page. I've made many formats of this, but not as any that I love as much as this one. I just love the fact that we've got the whole world and then all these little houses surrounding the world, and I just think it is really fun, and we've got the sentiment together as home. Finally, I finished this off just by adding a little bit of watercolour round the edges, and oh my goodness, I absolutely love this page. It's fun, it's whimsical, it was nice and easy to create, it felt good because I was using up my scraps, and look at it, it's absolutely gorgeous. I hope you love it too. This is one of my favourites ever. So for the next page, I want to try out another viral colouring trend, and this one was the blueprint trend. So I pulled out some stamps from my Mechanical Mayhem collection, created my own colouring page. I absolutely love the fact that you can do that with stamps, that you can actually create a colouring page with your own stamps and it's still very unique to you. You can always make a colouring page unique by the way you colour it, but the fact that you can even start with a unique base, I think is fab. So I put blue everywhere, and then I added extra blue shading and details to the little characters and the little, what are we calling them, spanners and things like that that they are sitting on. So we add lots of extra blue details so that the actual colouring stands out rather than it just being a plain blue. I then had to do measuring. I know, me measuring, but it was worth it and fairly easy. So I measured centimetres apart, both longwise and acrosswise, horizontal and portrait, and created these little squares. So I kind of drew them in with a white pen, and then I started adding the details. So this is quite a lot. It's something I do quite a lot when I do my lives. I take some of these colouring trends and apply them to the craft world, and I think we can end up with some fun pages as a result, like this one. So this next one was one that I wanted to do to show that you could get really creative with your pages and kind of have two pages work together really well. So I am cutting out a load of holes in one of the pages, and I'm going to create a sort of little peek through page by creating these different apertures. Now I'm working on black card, so I am stamping with white. I am using the Hero Arts white ink because I think it's the best white ink out there, and it shows up really well on the black page. And then around each aperture I am also sort of doing a little scribbly line. I am using this stencil as a guide, but I just think this is nice and simple, and it gives the page a little bit of interest before we start to create the peekaboo elements. So again, I've pulled out this Sherbet Fizz paper pack. I have lots of scraps, and I'm just going to build little details that I know will poke through the various holes. So you can see me sort of arranging the bits and pieces, and then every so often I overlay the top card just to make sure that there is space. I didn't like the way some of those things were ending. They had quite a harsh line, so I was just adding bits and pieces and just making sure it looked nice from the other page as well as on the page that we were actually working on. The next thing I wanted to do was to add some little characters, so I pulled out different ones that I had in my bit box just sitting around waiting to be used on a project. And then I kind of add these to the picture as well, and it is really getting there. So I was trying to make sure that each page looked good in its own right, but it also worked well together. I add a little bit of shadowing here with pencil. I later come in with a Derwent pencil because I wasn't obviously liking that. Also in this page I could tell where I was in my crafting journey. I can tell by the quality of the video because I do realise this one's a little bit more blurry. I've changed my camera since. But also I can tell the tools that I have, because I was really struggling to get a nice opaque ground where the mole was sat, and I can tell I was trying to do that because I came in with gel pens, I came in with pencils, I think I come in with like metallic paints in a little bit, whereas nowadays I would just pull out my acrylic markers. So this was definitely pre my acrylic marker journey. So it's fun to see the way I kind of managed to do things before. It shows where there's a will, there's a way you can make it work. So I add the extra shadowing in, and then we kind of have a little bit of splatter, and I think I managed to pull this together so it does look like a page in its own right. I think it's really fun. I like the white details, and you can see it in the journal there. So that's it with the two of them laid on top of each other, and that is it separate. For this one, I'm actually working in my handmade journal, and I have various things again from my bit box, and I've got some images from the Swashbuckling Sweethearts collection and some of the dies as well. And I start off just by slopping a load of paint on. I start off with white paint and various coloured paint just to get a little bit of background down. I also didn't want to completely cover the page because I quite like how the music notes are peeking through this particular page. I think it adds extra character to it. I think this collection, although it being like sort of pirate themed, has a bit of a steampunk vibe, so I went with these sort of like steampunk swirls that I have to layer in the background, and then gradually just started layering up some of these elements that I have, and as I said, it's a combination of stamped images and die cuts. Once they were all down, I added a little bit of extra detail with some doodleage. We've got to love a little bit of doodleage, and turned these little things into dangles. I also, because I had fussy cut these in advance and just had them sat in a box for as and when I use them, sometimes I don't like the stark white edges against the page, so I just sort of knock that back with a little bit of distress ink. I tried to add some bling with a metallic pen, and then finally just sort of added some splatters to the page to kind of bring it all together. And I have to say, this is another one of my favourite pages that I've created. Very different from the first one, but I think it's really fun. I love this page, and it was really quick and easy to do. Finally for today, that is not fried egg. I took what I had to hand to draw a circle. It's the top of my Scentsy thing, because I was wanting to try and sort of stamp out a wreath type shape. So I've taken some of the little extra stamps that come in the Bugtastic collection and tried to create a sort of like 3/4 wreath. I'm pointing out the fact I've left a great big black mark there. We will resolve that. And that's quite often what's fun about doing the lives with everybody, is quite often there are major problems going on. And obviously in normal YouTube videos, I just edit them out. No one need know. But when it's live, you catch me in real time kind of panicking, dealing with the situation and finding workarounds. And I know that everyone that joins me live says they actually quite enjoy that. They quite enjoy seeing me having to problem solve and having to fix a page. And as I always say to people, if it's not right, it's not the end. And we just keep working until it is right. So I start off just sort of trying to blot that away. Put multiple layers of the acrylic marker on until it's sort of more of a kind of lost shadow in the background rather. I mean, you can still see it, but it's not quite as bad as it was before. Also lots of splatters. I love the fact you can splatter with neocolours. I've definitely been using neocolours a lot more, and there's a lot of applications. So we finally add this little cute critter in, give him some rosy cheeks, colour this up with pencils. This has been a very mixed media page. We've had neocolours, and we've had acrylic markers, and we've had pencils, and we've had stamping inks. And I love the fact that you can use all of these elements together to bring a page together and give it lots of like layers and texture. So finally we have the white juicy highlights. Finish off with a doodly border because it's me and I can't help myself. So that mark is still there, but you can't really see it because we've disguised it with lots of other stuff going on. And that is the page all finished. So these are the different pages that we made today, and I hope you enjoyed looking at them and gained a little bit of inspiration. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you have found a little bit of inspiration. If you have enjoyed this video, you might very well enjoy joining me live sometime. As I said, I go live every Monday at 7:30 p.m. and I would love to have you join me. If you have enjoyed these videos, here's 2 more just like them, and I will see you guys again next Friday. Take care. Bye.